This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Happy summer, everyone. I know summer's coming to a close, and I'm sitting here driving for a visit for work. The kids and I were talking. See, one of the things that we've done this summer is we bought passes to amusement parks, and we've just really made sure that we've gone out and actually done things. And I've actually got the kids hooked into coasters. So we were talking, designing our own Superman coaster, because I know there is one. We watched the videos of Six Flags, and that's on our to-do list, hopefully maybe this year or next year. But I thought about this, like based on some of the coasters, this is my Escape from Krypton coaster. All right. So the coaster starts with a landing platform that's very much looks like the planet Krypton that we all know, very Donner-ish. That's the most strongest version of Krypton. You come up to it, you're inside, you get in. The coaster starts a little bit of just kind of going through um, the planet, and you're going around, and you're just kind of like going through the different parts of Krypton. You're seeing the planet. Then it starts flashing red and shaking. You hear voices, and then it goes up, up. That's when you're starting to click, 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 click to go up. And you hear Jarrell and Lara talking about their son as you're going up, and you see images. And your little coaster car is kind of shaped like his ship. And as you're going up, going up, going up, now it's a steel coaster, by the way. All of a sudden it gets darker. It's like you're going up and it turns into space, and then boom, you shoot out and go down, and it's dark, you're indoors, and it's like you're in space. And you see like the planets whizzing by and stuff as you're flying. You hear the explosion, and then maybe there's like screens or something. It's an indoor coaster experience, like ride, and pieces of kryptonite fly past you where it exploded, and you're going twisting and turning, and then you stop, kind of like you start to see Earth, and you go like you're going up, 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 up again. You're going high, and you don't really realize it because and then all of a sudden you drop, and you're outdoors, and you're dropping, and it's sunny and everything because hopefully it's on a beautiful day. But you're outdoors as you're coming down out of space, and then it's a barn, and you go through, and then you stop, and you're inside a barn, and you kind of hear some of the Superman score from Superman the movie where he, meets Mom and Pa, and that's kind of the last place where you get off the coaster. So then you get out of the coaster right there, and then the empty uh, ride, goes up to the next for the people. So you don't really see everything if you're coming into ride, and you're kind of getting a escape from Krypton vibe. And I think it'd be an awesome attraction. A little bit mixture of just different styles of coasters I've seen, where part indoor, outdoor, and a little bit of a ride and a thrill. What's your guys' thoughts? Do you guys like coasters? Let me know. Comments, chat. Let us know. Happy summer, everybody.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. I'm your host, Tyler, the Superman of Blue, the Man of Tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. It is time, everyone. I got my boy James. What's up, James?
What's up?
We've had a heck of a week in news, man. Heck of a week.
Well, it's San Diego Comic-Con. I mean,
yeah,
and we're gonna definitely get some extra news on that front.
So I'm Tyler. This is James. We're the Krypton Report. Let's get into some news. First thing we're going to do, we're going to try to do this as much of an order as we possibly can. We're going to start off with the Clayface trailer. So, James, if you pull it up on YouTube, we'll try to watch it about the same time. Can't do this with sound, which kind of sucks. The sad part, ladies and germs, is I was supposed to surprise the great coal miner here for his birthday and show up at his house on Sunday. And we were going to do all this together and get to, be in the same room. But my AC unit went out in my house and been working on that. And so that took up my time. So we aren't together.
Yeah. Well, here we are.
Defy the gods. They kept us apart. I haven't seen the Odyssey yet, but I keep making references. Like, Jania sent me to the store 3 times yesterday, and like to get a couple of items for the grocery store. And every time I went, it sucked because it was just like every time more and more problems. Like, this store didn't have this one item, but this store did. So I had to keep bouncing around trying to find what store had the item so she could make lasagna.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Clayface trailer, everyone up on the DC and Warner Bros. Official. I always think it's weird when they talk about how many like views the trailer gets because there's so many different outlets for the trailer. It's not like just on one channel. Like,
Right. And it's actually kind of cool the way they actually do it now, though. Them having it's multiple multiple areas that it's posted up as all on one.
all right, I'm on 0, 0, 0. You ready?
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3, play. All right. So we have a doctor, scientist lady who says, "Show me."
He takes off his mask and we get some scarring.
Shots of Gotham.
Like, they scarred him a lot.
Yeah.
So it almost seems like he slept with somebody he shouldn't have.
Yeah. I wonder. They cut his face up. It's not like he borrowed money. Now, this is what I think it's interesting. Like, he's all jacked up. Even if it kills me, I'm better off than I am now. We see his face all messed up. But he volunteers for human trials. Compared to, like, usually. On the airplane.
Yeah. Ooh, and then his eyes kind of like his eyelids are stuck together.
Oh, man.
Oh, and then the scissors.
Scissors.
It's just uncomfortable watching him go towards his eyes with scissors on a rocking plane.
Uh-huh. And then it's...
Twisted memories.
I would love it if, like, there's some... Since... Now that's
like
an
tragic.
It's a different shot. Him in the tub being all claying. Shadow behind.
Yep.
That's cool. The punch.
And then the tease of the giant clay monster.
And that's all I want to see. I don't want to see a giant clay monster more than that.
Not until the movie.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like, I don't want to see it in the trailer. If they did one more like trailer for this, I would love it for it to just be a bit more story wise, like Matt Hagen, blah blah blah, actor, blah blah blah, like and then it says something like, and then I made a horrible mistake, like what did he do that caused him to get cut up, like.
Yeah, because in the other, in Feet of Clay, like he was in an accident, and then like he has to do he basically has to work for the mob and do what they want him to do so he can continue his acting career. And then when that's over, they decide to kill him, and that's what turns him into the monster.
Yep. One thing is, I would love for him to, like, some of his roles or whatever they talk about to be like he played the Basil Carlo in this movie. He played I can't remember. Like, there's been multiple Clayfaces.
Yeah.
Basil and Hagen are the two most famous, but
I'm pretty sure there's at least a third one there, and then there's a lady Clayface too.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see how this movie plays out. It looks intense. It looks kind of scary, at least unsettling. We got a little bit of some body horror going on in the trailer. Last time, you talked about the tub shot. Last time it kind of looked like it was just he was in like a puddle of clay almost, But now this time it was a little more defined. His legs and everything were kind of looking like Rita from Doom Patrol, almost laying in that tub, as he was, readjusting his face back to normal.
So Peter Safran says that Clayface in Creature Commandos is the same character as introduced in Clayface movie. So that would move Clayface to being, if you're in the timeline, one of the earliest, if not linear, the first DC Universe film in the timeline.
Yeah.
Unless it happened like shortly after the Suicide Squad, because we have between Peacemaker and is it 6 months or is it a year between Peacemaker, the Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker?
I think it's something like a year.
I'm trying to remember what he says. He's like, "Dad, I've been in the hospital for 12 months."
Oh yeah, he took a bullet to the neck, almost died.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember. So that could be in between there. But we also got another trailer we'll just go ahead and talk about it. More extended for Nightfall. And what did you think of the trailer for Nightfall? A little bit longer. We saw Robin. We saw, more action with it. And we got our release dates. And I did say dates too. So August 23rd will be the digital release of Nightfall Part 1. And September 8th will be the physical.
Yeah. Getting back to that release schedule again, huh?
Which is crazy because as of this recording, on the 28th, Supergirl drops digitally, and the physical will be also September 8th.
Oh wow. That's over a month past the digital.
Right. So,
well, they're like we've discussed before, I think that home video market, the home rental market, the streaming stuff, I think that's a bigger deal with the, with the cash flow for the movies, where box office isn't the main driver. If a movie is financially successful, I think it's still probably the number one standard. But
Okay.
because when it comes to the marketing of that stuff, it's so much less than marketing a movie um, for the theater, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And when they're released, they pop up right in front of everybody on those streamers.
So some other Batman related news for all of you House of the Dragon fans. Matthew Needham will voice the Joker in Batman Cape Crusader season 2. He is in House of the Dragons as what's his face? The Clubfoot guy. Lord
Okay.
Baelish. You been watching House of the Dragons, James?
No. No. We actually have never finished Game of Thrones. So
So,
and it's hard to watch those shows with the kids around.
you know what? House of Dragons isn't. House of Dragons is a much better show. And it's like Game of Thrones. I watched once and I'm done. It's too big. It's too massive to go back and do again. But I go back and watch House of Dragons. It's a little bit smaller in scale as far as how many characters are all over the place, and the plot lines are a little bit easier to follow. And I don't know. I think it's a
Okay.
better show.
All right. Well, I'm guessing that Lord Baelish is the ancestor of Baelish
I think.
from Game of
I think.
Thrones.
But I say I think it's Baelish. It might be. I might be mixing them up.
One of his
I don't know.
forefathers. I don't know.
It's the
Um,
It's the Clubfoot guy.
okay.
So I might be mixing them up. There's too many names.
Yeah.
But
I'm excited for Batman Nightfall though. Can't wait to see part 1.
I'm excited, and I'm hoping that when we get the release of Nightfall Part 1, that we will, what do you call it? Get a tease for Part 2.
Yeah, a first look or even a part 2 trailer when the first one drops.
Yeah, like we used to.
Yeah. It looks pretty good, you know. I mean, I see some of the marks from the comic storyline. So it'll be interesting to see how they adapt it into and the Azrael storyline. It looks like they're getting a little more into I don't know the storyline name or anything, but I see where he's definitely got some more of the um, Saint Dumas programming.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm always interested. Like, I read, so when I look at things now, like Nightfall's in 3 volumes. I read volume 1 years ago. I just never really understood. Like, I understand why they brought in Jean Paul Valley in a way, but at the same time, I just feel like he wasn't needed. I don't know. So I'm interested in how they'll do it.
right?
Because, yeah.
Well, you know, they've done decent effect at translating the movies directly into the one-for-one stories that are pretty close. They've done a really good job at those. It's when they try to fit them into an existing continuity that sometimes they misstep
Yeah.
or change it up too much, like Crisis.
We don't talk about Crisis. We don't talk about Crisis. No. But all right. There's another trailer. We got the first, quote unquote, first trailer for Lanterns. Are you ready, James? You got pulled up?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go back. Here we go. I am at 000. Ready? 1, 2, 3, play. Jon Stewart.
So,
is
I mean,
dead.
yep. Kyle Chandler acts so old in this.
I mean, he is older.
And fly.
But just fly. This is awesome. It's a construct of a bird.
What's that? So I'm actually pretty sure on the on HBO Max they have like the unedited trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this trailer is.
I like how he's like straight up he's Green Lantern. It's not like he's hiding it or anything.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, right off the top, just from this trailer, they are leaning way more into comic book than this shot. They're on another planet,
Yeah.
2 moons, whatever that is, and Manhunters. Talking about Manhunters, Manhunters are the big villains this season. That's awesome.
Any species. So who's going to send an army? Thank you, Guy Gardner.
And that was what's her name, Lauren Kinney, or she's
Yep.
gonna be a guardian.
Yes, she is one. All right. First look at Sinestro. He's my replacement. We see him charge the ring. Him fly.
See a tornado construct. Looks like it's throwing a bomb up into the air.
And then he starts the lanterns oath.
You got Hal Jordan reciting the oath. Lanterns.
Seem like shh.
And then he makes a bottle opener construct. That is a Hal Jordan thing to do.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of good in here. You know that it's one ring. Now this is my thing is like the rings chosen, are you supposed to be able to use it? Right? I mean, in the Green Lantern comic, I think I've been reading, that is how it was. And we have here,
I mean, I suppose if you're tasked with training somebody,
and that's the question is we have Hal and John with one ring between the two of them, but do you think John will get his own ring?
right? Or is he going to get the ring if Hal dies?
So
I'm
wondering,
I don't know.
Because I'm wondering if it's a test or something, because part of what they've said is so here is a poster from them posing for Entertainment Weekly, and Kyle Chandler is wearing it on the wrong finger.
Mhm.
Did you see the panel where they had Nathan Fillion, Kyle Chandler, and Aaron Pierre reciting the oath together, and Chandler messed it up?
Oh, no, I heard that they had done that. Is that what it was, that he messed it up?
Yeah, they looked at him and it was hilarious. But I'm wondering if
you're wearing it on the wrong finger too.
Yeah, but that's because I bought the biggest size, and we learned today. I think I can get it on my middle finger. I'm just afraid that it'll like be too tight and I won't be able to get it off.
Yeah,
it's like a paranoid. This weekend I got to meet Daryl Banks, co-creator artist of Kyle Rayner, and get him to sign a Kyle Rayner one shot. So that's part of my Green Lantern weekend.
Nice.
But so in Lanterns, the Guardians of the Universe are concerned about Hal Jordan and what he may or may not have inherited from his former mentor, Sinestro. So that's part of, I think, why he's training John.
Which could be a logical, idea for a
Or-
story.
Or yes, and that's why I'm wondering if maybe it's a test where they're both going to get the ring or something. And that's why. But so here is a picture of the ring and the lantern from Comic-Con. They're selling these rings on DC Direct, and we are having a chat about it in our group chat today because they're like a 9, 10, and a size 11, and I think maybe 12. But like,
I think it was 9 through 13 might have been the sizes they had.
no, not 13, because that's what I bought my Guy Gardner one in. Because I was looking at it and I was mad. And then we learned the average man's ring size is not that, so we all have big fingers. But what I think's interesting is the way this ring matches this lantern. And maybe we'll see like Guy's lantern. But see like the gray, like almost like stone part of the ring. Like
Right.
That's just like how Guy's is. It's just like that, but the symbol's different on it.
Okay.
Now, we got our first look at the Funko Pops of Hal Jordan in his suit with his mask, Sinestro, and just John in his clothes. So, yeah, I pre-ordered the Hal Jordan because I like that look.
It does look good. The Funko Pop looks really good, actually.
And like you stated, Lauren Linney is officially playing one of the Guardians in Lanterns. So I hope we see her in like blue, and then she takes like a human form. Lanterns creator Tom King and Damon Lindelof say the series will explore how Guy Gardner got his Green Lantern ring before the events of Superman. So that's because we know the show has 2 timelines, and in between one of them is when Guy got his ring.
So that's cool to kind of know that there's going to be some focus on him in there,
Yeah, we need that connective tissue because right now, Guy is really helping connect. I mean, he showed up in Peacemaker, he's in Superman, he's in Lantern. It's really helping keeping that connective tissue for the.
And man, Nathan Fillion is working because he's probably working on the Rookie too.
I was joking with Jania the other day. Could you just imagine being Fillion and James Gunn comes like, "Hey, I'm doing Superman. We're going to do Green Lantern. I want you to be Guy Gardner. Well, not Hal Jordan. Nah, we're going to do something different with Hal. Okay, you're getting older. All right, I'll be Guy. Sign on then. Hey, we're going to do an old Hal Jordan and a young John. Son of a bitch.
Right.
Like.
I know, he's the perfect age. He could have still played the older Hal Jordan.
Exactly, but how do you do a character that's a douche that everyone hates? You find someone that everybody loves to play the character, so you don't love the character, you don't hate the character. You actually have some love for the character because you love Fillion. Some of the episode titles and runtimes have been reported. Episode 1 pilot is 57 minutes. Episode 2, Trust Fall, is 52. Episode 3, Outcast, is 54. Episode 4, The Weenie, is 52. And then 5 through 8 is unknown. But, okay, I'm digging the Lanterns look, but I got some thoughts. One, it seems like the construct take a beat longer to be created. Like, if you look at how long it takes him to pull the bottle opener or the dollar bill and stuff, like, it looks like those constructs took a little bit longer than, say, like the force field he pulls up. But the 2 things that are getting me, I think the green color is a little darker than I would like because usually in the comics it's a lighter green they use for the constructs. But we don't see... There's not that like connective tissue from the ring to the construct. Like the construct's not tied to the ring. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like you mean like an energy that goes out and creates the construct?
Yeah, like there's always like you see the energy
Just
from the
kind of
ring. This is
right
like
where
it's
it
creating
just
it.
appears in thin air.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, but the way they're depicting it here in Lanterns is the same the way they did it in Superman. So that's connective tissue. And also the way that Hal Jordan flies looks like the way Guy Gardner flew. They don't have the energy around them like they do in the comics when lanterns fly.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't do that with Guy and Superman.
Nope.
I just hope like if I just hope, like I said, like if they go out into space or something, that they have an aura of light around them to like
I
protect
hope
them
so.
from like the vacuum of space. But flying around in an atmosphere or something, uh, I guess I get it. If the constructs are just going to appear out of nowhere, then I think for the most part, like that flight is just part of it.
So that's what we got for the Lanterns news. I'm excited now. I don't need another trailer. I hope that, Kyle Chandler gets to wear the suit more. We see him, a couple times in the suit. And then maybe at the end of the movie, we see John in a suit. Or not the movie, the show. We built that up because we know that John's going to be in Man of Tomorrow, but we don't know about Guy being in Man of Tomorrow. We got our first look at Absolute Cyborg here. Looks like a dude with a metal arm. That's crazy. We have World's Finest Annual #1 coming out 7/29, which will have already been out by the time this airs. The World's Finest attempt to have a relaxing night out with Jonathan Kent and Alfred. But after an emergency leads Batman and Superman into a trap, it's up to their father figures to jump into the fray. That's going to be an awesome issue.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Absolute Cyborg, yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Not sure about that design.
We also are getting a short mini series of Absolute Black Canary, which will tie into the Absolute Green Arrow book.
Which I've read both issues on DC Universe now.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Same writer who's writing it is writing Black Canary.
So, we got the announcement of Batman of Two Worlds will be a comic book only available in comic book stores on Batman Day. It's our current all-in Batman meeting up with our Absolute Batman of them together. They're pushing it hard for Batman Day. They got their own trailer for it. So the two Batmans will come together in a crossover. So that'll be cool, something for Batman Day to look to. And then we got some McFarlane toy. So here we go. Elite Gold Edition, available only at Walmart, is Absolute Batman. He looks absolute, big. Just says coming soon. Kind of crazy that's a Walmart only. But there it is. We'll have a 7-inch only at GameStop Harley Quinn, standard like animated series look. Okay.
Classic look, yeah.
There's the deluxe theatrical editions of the Batman. So the only thing I'm seeing is they really made his suit more gray and like everything black. Because like in my figure I have of him, the suit's not as gray. It's just like a lighter looking black. So they really made this suit gray. They have a battle damaged Batman Returns Catwoman and a Commissioner Gordon from The Dark Knight. And I'm just kind of like, okay, are these figures that we really need with all the other figures that we've gone over that they could make?
Yeah.
We have We
Got to
have
get that
iconic-
Gary Oldman though.
Yeah. We have a standard classic looking Robin from Batman #1. We have a Batman from Batman #1. Tim Drake from Nightwing 31 and Nightwing. The page punchers. Then in 7-inch figures, we have Batman from Justice League, Plastic Man from the Terrifics, Robin Silver Age, and Catwoman Hush, even though it says renders shown pending license or approval. Once again, do we need any of those figures?
Right. Got to have Robin in his short shorts and little elf boots, though.
Just give me a yellow pants Robin. That would be interesting. And then we have some of the other Green Lanterns and a Green Lantern Sinestro. Still not giving me a Blue Lantern. We have a Mira, Wonder Girl, Black Manta, and a Raven, which all actually look sweet. Still, though, render showing pending license or approval. Then we have...
It'd be cool to have a Titan set, though.
Yes, it would. Then we have Death of Super Man Bun Doomsday. So it's a fall figure, a mega figure. I do want that one though.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I want a big Doomsday figure. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to splurge and get that one.
And then we have Atrocitus and another Red Lantern. Then look, only at Entertainment Earth, the pre-orders are coming for the Superpowers figures. Look, James, it's Electric Blue and Electric Red.
Nice.
We're gonna have to get those.
Yes, we are.
It means I have to buy something for Entertainment Earth. God, I hate that. And then another page puncher is Superman from Justice, Batman from Justice, Batman 89, and Two-Face from 89, which I will buy the Two-Face from Batman 89 because I like having the Two-Face collection.
Have a Billy D. Williams Two-Face?
Yeah.
For sure.
And then the last thing is we got announced the DCKO official announcement trailer is a mobile fighting game. And it launches in 2027 on iOS and Android devices. Right now, you can pre-register under playdcko.com. And, man, I'm hoping that it's something that, like, we can play and fight, but, like, link up and play against each other or something. But
yeah,
I'm just a little disappointed.
In all of the DC mobile games that have come out, like I can't even play friggin' Injustice 2. It never works for me.
That's what I'm saying.
On any device.
I don't like the mobile games because I feel like I end up having more problems just smacking my screen than actually playing a game.
Yeah. Worlds Collide is okay. There's a number of characters. They have a lot of the like movie tie-ins and things like that for characters and whatnot. It has a similar feel to Marvel Strike Force, but I really wished that this game for DC was more like Marvel Strike Force because I've continuously played that game. That one has a real big focus on, the characters and the teams and the specific modes for the teams. You know what I mean? So you level up specific teams and characters for your different modes, and you get to play with some of your favorite teams. The team system in this is not at all kind of like that. There's a synergy, that characters on teams give each other. It's just I just enjoy that game more, and that's what I thought Worlds Collide was going to be. I'm gonna check out KO. I'm gonna do the pre-register, and I'll start and play it and everything. But also, fighting games, they only have, at least for me, a short half-life. It's the same
Yeah.
thing over and over. That's at least why, Marvel Strike Force, as it's gone on in the couple of years that I've been playing it, it's continues to give you new characters and move farther forward, and it's exciting to try and get these characters, and I want to collect the DC characters and make their teams. I want a Titans team, I want an Outsiders team, I want Kryptonian team. You know what I mean? I want a Justice League.
I mean, they shut down their multiverses, and I was hoping that KO might be like that. That it would end up being a game like that, where it can be downloaded to your system, it can play across platforms. But no, it's going to be a mobile game, which just, I don't know, it doesn't make me excited for it because none of them really work that great. Just like they kept adding stuff to the mobile versions of Injustice when I'm like, why can't we actually get an Injustice game update or something and actually play what we want to play? Because I'd rather play on my system than sit there and smack my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, mobile games are not. I don't play too many mobile games. I'll try them, but they all fall off. The only one that I've continuously played, like I said, is Marvel Strike Force, and I would love to have a game just like that with DC.
I mean,
Like
Solomon's
but it's in that one, it's actually, you can set it to auto, right, and it'll play automatically, but it's like you actively do your fighting across the field from each other with the opposing team. There is an active component to it with DC Worlds Collide. It's kind of passive. It's really just, the higher number wins, and that's kind of how DC Worlds Collide is one of those things where it's just, you gotta just keep pumping in and just raise your number up, and as soon as you get to somebody, or the levels now where the number's higher than you have to go back and do it again. You know what I mean? Whereas actually with the Marvel Strike Force, like I said, with the teams and the different modes, you can beat teams that are 3 times literally your power level in a certain mode if you have the right team. So there's actually a strategy involved. And it kind of seems like there's just too much of a passive nature on that DC Worlds Collide that I just don't like. It doesn't appeal to me as much.
See, enough said right there. But that's all the news I collected over the past week before San Diego and everything. There's probably more stuff that was announced at San Diego. It's so hard because there's so much. But that's what we were able to piece together. And the big thing being the Lanterns panel. It is kind of weird. There was nothing from Man of Tomorrow at all, or anything teasing anything else from DC Studios other than just Lanterns. Like, I'm glad Lanterns got its thing, but you think they would have done something, had a panel for Clayface,
Right. Well, they didn't have a panel or anything. So, when Marvel actually did their Hall H, they kind of took over the news cycle at that time.
Lanterns was the only thing, what do you call it, that DC Studios presented, was that. So, all right, that's our news. Hang in there. We'll be right back with some more Krypton Report.
I'm going to take a moment real quick to talk about Blue Beetle. I've been sitting here thinking, I'm so excited that Blue Beetle's coming tomorrow. And I've been sitting here thinking about, James Gunn took over and everything in 2023. We had Aquaman and we had The Flash. come out, and both did not perform as well as hoped. Blue Beetle suffered. And I'm sitting here and I've been thinking, what, Gunn was preparing the new DC universe, correct? And he introduced the quote unquote new DC universe with Creature Commandos. And that is not how I would have introduced this universe, right? Because Creature Commandos was already in process. And then he kind of backdoored Peacemaker and backdoored the Suicide Squad, which is fine. But I'm sort of thinking, like, I think I would have held Blue Beetle till 2024, maybe shot a new scene or two with maybe Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner or Mr. Terrific or Hawk Girl or something, because I don't think you would want to introduce Superman like that. But maybe one of the Justice Gang members and have like a post-credit scene or film a scene, in it. Since both Supergirl and Superman end with scenes that feel almost like post-credit scenes, done something in Blue Beetle and added a scene where he comes and he gets talked to by even maybe Maxwell Lord about joining, recruiting for the Justice Gang. And something that, or, Blue Beetle turns on the TV and sees something with Superman on the news, and then gets, someone from the Justice Gang or whatever. Something like that. And I would have released Blue Beetle in 2024 and kind of hyped it up as starting the new DC universe. Because Gunn had already said that he was going to include the character. And made that the first film of the DC universe. And then helped build some excitement for the new universe. Or pushed it to early 2025 with those new scenes. Or released it after Superman and have a scene where Blue Beetle meets Superman. I know that that's like, holding the movie off, but I think the movie was great. And I think if you would have not released it when you did, because everyone kind of lost interest when you're like, oh, this is all changing, and it's a new film of a character that's new, I think it lost out. But if you would have held off, shot a couple of scenes to insert for the new regime, and then released it in either 2024 or released it after Superman or before Superman in 2025. I think that movie would have done a lot better, because it already established itself where it wasn't connecting to the other universe. There's nothing in it that connects it. It stands on its own. It mentions Gotham and stuff, but nothing major. And you would have already had a killer 2 film in your new DC universe. And it would have been amazing. And it would have got kind of lost in the shuffle. Go back and watch Blue Beetle and tell me I'm wrong. Solomon loves it. I love it. It's a great film.
So, as some of you know, I got to interview a couple years ago author Ed Gross, and I got to meet him last year at Superman Celebration. And while meeting him, I got my book signed, and I bought some of his other books that I talked about. But he had a new one come out. It's called Krypton Talk: Meet the Woman of Tomorrow. The comics, the movies, and TV shows, the actors. An unofficial, unauthorized guide to Supergirl, celebrating her 67th anniversary. Now, this one is different than the oral history that he created with the Superman book. This book is a collection of articles and stuff. Ed wrote a couple of parts to it, but there are some parts inside from Craig Byrne, from our friend Anthony Desiato of Digging for Kryptonite. You know, some of their podcasting translations from their episodes, as well as comments and things too from the different actresses that have portrayed Supergirl. I love it. Also, Michael Bailey, you know, our friend Michael Bailey, and legendary Mark Waid. I love it because I love these books because it really helps paint a picture of where we were in the world and what the importance were of these characters and how they came to be. It's interesting. This one, like I said, is so different, but it's a great read. It's available on Amazon, and it just kind of helps you understand um, the history of these characters and where they come from. And I feel like this Supergirl one is more almost like an anthology book than it is a straight on oral history. So I do recommend you check it out. It starts, you know, with Helen Slater and it goes to Millie. And it talks, there's also parts with voice actresses who have played the part in the different voicing of the animated series. Great lights on Melissa and on Laura. So check it out. And then the other book from Ed's catalog that we got to use is Krypton Talk presents Remember Lois and Clark by Ed Gross. Now this is one I bought last year, and what's funny is the back of it is the promo for his new book. I actually got this one signed too, along with my book about all of them. But this book is something I'm going to be referencing and looking into, as you'll hear in this episode. We're going to start diving into Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. And we're going to use this book that Ed has. And this one is more similar to his first book, where it's a collection of Ed putting things together and articles. And it's a great read. I know Lois and Clark is a weird spot for a lot of people, but there's interviews and there is just kind of looking back, a little bit more of an oral history that's focused just on Lois and Clark and what that series was. So we're pulling this book out and using it as we go along. Like I said, Ed's books are awesome. He wrote the official DC Superman history that I got last year. So check it out as we dive into more from our characters here. The Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow Talk is a great book to add to your collection on this year of Supergirl. We are kicking off our next DC series. We had finished up earlier in the year. We had finished up Supergirl. I'm sorry. For Supergirl, gosh, I'm tongue tied. We had finished up watching Superboy. We started that journey, and now it is time to venture to another series. James, do you want to tell the good folks at home what we will be venturing into?
Yeah, we are going to be discussing Lois and Clark.
Now, the new adventures.
The new adventures of Superman. Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman.
And we are going
to get the whole title.
We're going to go basically episode by episode and talk about it. But we'll probably do 2 episodes at a time. And it's not a super in-depth conversation. It's a conversation, and we like to add this to the episodes once a month. But we are not talking about the pilot. No. We've done that. We've done that as part of, we did pilot season, and we talked about it again. We did a commentary on it last year where we talked about how the pilot was filmed as if it was a mini movie. So we're going to start with episode 2, Strange Visitor from Another Planet. The synopsis is: a paranoid rogue federal agent investigation of Superman leaves Clark wondering about his true origin. Now, this is neat that, we don't have Clark is doesn't know that he's an alien. So James, how did you watch this series?
On my original DVDs.
I busted out my Blu-ray set, and I've had it for months and haven't got to watch it. And I officially started it, and it looks great. It looks gorgeous. So it was really nice to see, you know.
Well, I mean, Lois and Clark. It's an old hit of nostalgia, really. You know, grew up watching that. I know we've talked about the Sequest DSV
Yeah,
debacle, them being on at the same time.
I said that to Jania, and she goes, "What was Sequest?" I was like, "The show my mom wanted to watch."
Rude. I do love Sequest though.
It was cool. I Jonathan Brandis, Roy Schreiber.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching it, and when I was watching it, what I did was I watched it in the morning as I was getting ready for work, and I did it over 2 days. And first of all, let's just get it out of the way. I think Dean Cain did a good Superman and a good Clark Kent, but I'm just not happy with the kind of person that Dean Cain is showing to be right now in real life.
I think that's actually been quite some time. It's not right now. I just think right now, just like everybody else, he's emboldened to say the dumbest shit there is. But he did a great job as Clark. He did a great job as Superman, and the chemistry between, I mean, pretty much him and the whole cast, as well as the cast, the entire cast period, but primarily him and Terry Hatcher. Like they hit it off right away. Season 1, they are the journalistic rivals. Who both kind of have. Well, Clark for a longer period during the first season, the crush on Lois, but then Lois kind of realizing she has her feelings for him, and then the way the series progresses from there, and it's all about their relationship, and they just had great chemistry.
Oh, you're right. I mean, they have great chemistry. They are great together, and I mean. But I just, I don't want to praise Dean Cain for the person that he's being, but I do want to talk about, I like what he's done as with the character here. There's a sweetness and a charm to him that I do appreciate. I mean, this is coming. If you're looking at it as mainstream audience,
is an actor, playing a part.
Just like when we talk about Smallville, we separate the Alice and Max stuff. And that hits us harder at home because we grew up, with Smallville.
And Chloe was my favorite character.
Yeah, we had crushes on Chloe. Not afraid to say. With the Dean Cain portrayal, okay, if we're thinking mainstream, and I say mainstream because we all know that Superboy was syndicated and not a lot of people knew it existed. You hadn't had Superman really on the big on television or anything since Superman 4 and Chris's portrayal. So when you get into this different new kind of, should I say, sexy Clark Kent, it's different. It's going to pull attention, This isn't your bumbling Clark Kent that everyone thinks and knows. So it makes a big deal. And it was a change up, and
yeah, he's a mild-mannered reporter. They made sure to say that in this strange what was it? What's the name of the first episode?
Strange Visitor from Another
Yes,
Planet.
Strange Visitor. Okay. Yeah, in Strange Visitor they even say this guy might be so mild-mannered he doesn't even have a pulse.
Yeah. It's a great when he's taking the test, and what I find from the acting and the writing is how he finds a way of not lying We're like, "Are you Superman?" Yes.
Why isn't it moving?
Some quick trivia about this episode, real quick. The furniture warehouse is on Basolo Avenue. George Basolo was the real name of George Reeves, who played Clark Kent, of course, in Superman in the Moment and Adventures of Superman.
Ooh, I love that.
When Clark uses his X-ray vision to see inside Mr. Thompson's briefcase, the top file reads Voronik, USSR, 1989. In September of 1989, the city of Russia was the site of an alleged UFO sighting. Supervising producer and writer Bryce Zabel gave Clark his own birthday, May 17th. That's bullcrap. Trask asks Lois if Superman is the advanced guard of an alien invasion. He also wonders whether Superman has any telepathic powers. Of course, this is more allusions to the original Siegel and Schuster idea of the evil Superman in their reign of the Superman. This is the first episode of the series in which Lois says, "Help, Superman."
As she's falling out after she's fallen out of a plane.
Yeah. What I found interesting in this episode is he's still wearing the cape / suit from the pilot. And I will say that with episode 3 as well, he's still wearing that with the over the shoulder attachments. And like, I haven't watched this series in about 9 years. And even then I was kind of spacing it out, you know what I'm saying? So I am looking forward to sitting down and kind of watching this, but watching it now with more of the astute eye instead of just kind of watching it in the background or just watching it for fun.
Right. Well, I had only had season 1 on DVD for the longest time. Wasn't until you got me 2, 3, and 4 that I got the rest of the series. So, like, ready to go. I haven't watched the full thing in quite some time. I had watched season 1 many times before, and then when DC Universe came out, I started watching it on season 2, and I did pick up a little bit more of season 2 when HBO Max came out and Lois and Clark was there. But yeah, I actually haven't watched the series to its completion since the finale, honestly.
Yeah,
since I saw the finale on TV.
And I know there's stuff I've missed, and that's why I'm kind of excited to go through this with you. The other thing is, currently, as of this recording, it is not streaming on HBO Max.
No.
Or whatever, it's called. By the
it
time
is
this
HBO
episode,
Max.
But by the time
Unless
this
they
episode
decide
comes
to change it again.
by the time this episode comes out, it could be HBO Max plus Prime. But yeah, it is not streaming unless you pay for it. So, which is kind of a bummer because we sometimes want to do these shows when there's streaming, and by the time we get to them or we've organized it, they're no longer streaming.
Well, that's what happened to us when we started Superboy.
Yeah, that's why our Superboy coverage was so weird, because we were starting on DC Universe, and then it went away, and we had to.
Some of it was on Tubi, and
Yep,
then we only got so far before it left Tubi.
And then I just had to buckle in, and we bought all the DVDs. Brian bought them for me for my birthday, and then I got them for you for your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
This is also, so in episode 2, we have the great, with the lie detector, and we have Kat trying to seduce Clark, and takes her back, to her apartment, and she's like, "I'm gonna slip into something more comfortable," and she puts on like the jeans and the college sweatshirt and everything, and she's trying to appeal to Clark's Midwestern farm boy style.
Right.
And it's Kat is an interesting character because Kat is so oversexed, and she's the gossip writer and everything. And when you look at the live action Cat Grants we've had technically 2, 3, 4, 5. Because we got 2 different versions on Smallville. That's why I say technically. We got this version, which is the first, which is really, really interesting when you think about where we are in the comics. How new-ish of a character Cat really was, at the time of this show premiering. This show's coming out in 93.
Yeah, and her storylines don't even really pick up for a little bit after that.
So, Cat Grant.
It's her son Andrew.
Yeah,
I think she dies.
Yes, killed by Toyman. Adam.
Adam. That's right, Adam.
So Cat Grant was created by Marv Wolfman and Jerry Ordway, and her first appearance was in The Adventures of Superman 424 in 1987.
So by this time, she's only 6 years old in the comics.
Yeah, and I think of her more as a 90s character as part of that, that whole core Daily Planet team.
Right. Well, she was my first basis for Cat Grant, and like a gossip columnist kind of idea,
And it's interesting,
quote unquote, trying to get the dirt on people.
It's very interesting because of how her character goes. We also get Lucy Lane, and she's in this episode, and she was in the first, and she stays around for a little bit. So there's things I'm kind of paying attention to as we're going through this now of like, okay, when does Cat officially kind of phase out? How does her story go? When does Lucy just disappear?
Right. I think Cat's actually gone after season 1.
She is.
Yeah.
She is after season 1 because of just, I feel like they get the characters together and they're like, well, Cat's no longer there to kind of, Lois Clark. Because we get this great part with Perry trying to basically say, Clark, you're better than that. Don't sleep with Cat. Like he gives this whole Elvis thing that Elvis could have married this one person. And if he did, he wouldn't have been the king. And he's like, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yes, Chief. He's like, okay. All right.
And Lane Smith is just like he's what I picture when you first say Perry White. You know what I mean?
Yes. And that's what I was telling Solomon, because Solomon watched episode 3 with me. I was like, I really like Lane Smith. Jackie Cooper has my favorite Perry White line. But I think Wendell Pierce could be the best Perry White if they gave him some more in Man of Tomorrow, because he does really good with stuff, even though he's given very little to do.
Yeah.
In Superman. So, but I just wish we didn't have all the Elvis stuff with Lane Smith. Because I still look at Lane Smith as being the coach of the Hawks and screwing up Gordon Bombay.
That's funny. I do see that, but every time I see him, it's either Lois and Clark or Son-in-Law. I mean, he's also the lawyer in My Cousin Vinny, but Son-in-Law, where he's the farmer, where he's
Gina
Cochina.
Not
why am I blanking?
Carla Gugino.
Carla Cochina, yeah. When he plays her dad.
Son-in-law. Polly Shore. Ow, ow, ow. Can we get more 90s?
Oh yeah, that's absolutely 90s.
There are also, this is where we see the ship. We have a great scene of Clark spin digging like down to his ship, and it's really great because like I said, this is where he learns he's an alien, and from the
well, and then we got the Kents here. Got mom and pa, they're both alive. He knows exactly where the ship is buried.
And it's not
Well,
there. And they
he's
eventually
like, you
find
don't
it in the-
forget something this important.
and he says how he couldn't destroy it in the fire. And the kids made this show. It was like, once again, they're both alive compared to what you saw in the Christopher Reeve film. Now, Lex Luthor is not in this episode. When you think about how we left Lex Luthor is when Superman told him to look up. Now, I do want to reference this book I got here, Krypton Talk, Lois and Clark Remembered by Ed Gross. Met Ed in 2005 and got him to sign this and my other book that I got from him, which I've been kind of reading and will kind of help us through our journey with just some background information as we traverse the great Lois and Clark that it is. Now, we're going to jump over to episode 3, Never Ending Battle. They were really heavy on these titles at the beginning, weren't they?
Well, we actually didn't even get to like the most important part of episode 2. Actually, he finds a globe with his ship because he finds his ship stored this government entity or whatever. They found the ship and they took it, but he finds this orb and it's or a globe, and it's kind of Earth. And when he looks at it, or when he holds it, it changes, and I guess it gives him some knowledge of his past or where he comes from, because it's the first time he utters the word Krypton.
Yeah,
It's when he finally knows where he's from.
which I kind of wish they would have let go a little bit longer, because if you're going to start out where it's almost like a mystery, you could have pulled it.
Well, it still is, I mean, at this point, all it does is really kind of tell him where he's from and that he is actually an alien. Because I think we've got more time when he learns other things. Don't we get to see what's his name is Jor-El? Why am I blanking? It's the guy who voices Ra's al Ghul in the animated series.
I prefer to think of him as the Doctor from Teenage
Mutants. Yeah, 2. I was trying to think of his name from that movie.
Dr. Perry. Crap. All I know is I quoted that movie the other day. Jenny and I walked out of the store and I was holding some bags. It's like, you got some essentials. Yeah, the bare essentials. And she's like, where's that from? I was like, turtles.
Yep.
Those.
Yeah, so he gets to see like his parents. He learns more later.
Is it David Warner?
David, yeah, I think that is it.
Yeah. It took me a minute. I'll get there. I'm going to say this, and I mean this with all my heart. I don't think there's ever been a good Jor-El casting. I think the closest we get, really, is the guy who played Jor-El in the Kirk Allen serials. Right? Or the Avengers Superman. I'm kind of mixing them up in my head at the moment because they're very similar. Russell Crowe's a good second. I don't think there's been a really great Jor-El casting, because I think Jor-El should look and feel like he could be Superman, and he should look and feel like he should look like his son, but his son, Clark, should have his mother's eyes and her curl, and he should look a lot like his father. And I don't think they've ever cast where those people look like the parents of the child.
Yeah.
Come at me, people. We can have a discussion. It's okay. But I'm just saying, I've never been happy with a Jor-El casting. I've often said that I think John Hamm would have been an amazing Jor-El casting. And I wish that we would maybe, if something could have been done, we could have got a really good Jor-El casting for Superman, but I feel like it was with Bradley Cooper. It was almost kind of stunt casting in a way.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
Just as a cameo.
yeah, it was just like Gunn calling in a favor and everything.
Right.
Like, hey, man, you want to be in Superman just as this? Sure.
Yeah, and I'm going to make you a crappy person so you don't ever have to come back.
And you're not going to speak English.
Right.
So like I said, the next episode is called Never Ending Battle. The title is a reference to the opening narration of the radio serials and the opening of The Adventures of Superman, who disguises Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice, which I actually have that as a sign hanging in my office that says fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice.
Nice.
This episode marks the final appearance of Elizabeth Bardonis as Lucy Lane, who dropped off from the series only after 3 episodes. She was credited as a regular cast member in the pilot. Lucy's only subsequent appearance was in Metallo, in which she is played by a different actress, which is Roxana Zale. So we were just talking about how at the beginning we had Lucy, and we just learned about it.
And we just learned this is about it.
Yep, yeah. Well, good for us. This episode, here we go. I thought this episode was produced before Strange Visitor from Another Planet. This explains why Lois is surprised in this episode hearing that Superman really is an alien, and at first believes that he is from the planet Trophix. Yes. It also explains why, like, Lex is absent and then Lucy. Lex's Falcon is named Faust. Dr. Faust is a well-known fictional character who sells his soul to the devil in order to get the woman he wants. Usually women sell their souls to try to get James, but it doesn't always work. Towards the end of the episode, Clark drinks from a Royal Flush coffee mug featuring the suit of clubs. Ace of Clubs is clearly visible in the DC Comics, the Royal Flush Gang. I think that's a little bit of a stretch for trivia, but whatever. But the premise of this episode is Lex Luthor decides to test the superhero himself for his threat level as Lois tries to learn about Superman. This episode was a lot of fun because, once again, like I said, we're still dealing with the suit with the over-the-shoulder cape, which explains why and how it's produced. We have an appearance by Larry Linville as Grover Cleveland, which made me laugh because Larry Linville from MASH. But what I liked about this episode is when we get to see Clark's apartment, what a crap hole it is, and how he signs up for it. And Lois follows Clark thinking that's where Superman's going to show up for the story. And we get... there's all kinds of fun 90s stuff that gets referenced that I want to write down. And I forgot to in these 2 episodes of like just tech stuff that's like funny to us now. But Lois shows up and she's like, "Where am I?" And he's like, "My apartment."
Yeah. Yeah, Lois is really competing. She actually is kind of a terrible person in this one, stealing a story from Clark because she's so obsessed with Superman. And then later she does it to Jimmy, which prompts Clark to set her up, which is a funny scene.
Oh, it's great because it was a call out to, because she thinks she's gonna find Superman's spaceship and everything. She got a tip, and she digs through this, like, it leads her to like past the sewage mud, and she digs and finds a Godzilla toy with red trunks and an S on his chest.
Yeah,
that was a sweet Godzilla toy, by the way.
Yeah, it was old school Godzilla.
So that was fun. And one of the best sight gags is when Clark's landlord, Clark asks if he can do some repairs. And his landlord pops his head in, and Clark's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." And we see him like start to paint as he floats up and he's painting. And then it cuts to outside his apartment. His landlord's looking for a key. Clark comes running out the door in a suit to go to work. And the landlord looks back in the apartment, and it's like completely painted, fixed, really nice.
Yeah.
And like the apartment was what, 950 or something like that.
That's what he wanted. I think he cut him a deal for 9.
So, and I didn't even look at how much that would be. All right, let's go look to the internet. And that was just one of the best things in it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, he makes it a really nice apartment. I always liked that place. It looked really cool.
I always wanted to hit him and John Wesley Shipp to like cross over in apartments because they both had similar looking great apartments.
Right.
So, all right, let's conversion calculator. 900 in 1993 is worth about 2,087 and 27 cents today.
Yeah, sounds about right. It would cost you at least $2,000 a month to live in an apartment in Metropolis today.
I would have like 6 roommates. Make podcasting a lot easier. This James would be one of them.
Right.
But the main crux of this is Lex Luthor has his goons basically try to commit suicide and do other things that cause Superman to, he's testing how fast he is and if he's going to. And Lex basically says to him that as long as he's around, he'll keep doing this. He'll keep testing. He'll keep pulling tricks, and that Superman might as well quit.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite episodes, and actually one of my one of the biggest things that I feel shapes Superman better than Jonathan dying. I feel it's in a similar vein of you can't save everybody, even with all of what you can do, you can't save everybody. I understand that it's a little different of a natural occurring accident like a heart attack. But I mean, even people driving down the road, it's when a car accident happens, unfortunately, it's kind of a natural occurring incident most of the time. They're usually accidents.
Mm-hmm.
But not being able to save everyone, that being able to do what he can as much as he can is enough. And I think that's really inspiring for Superman. And I think that's, I think it's a really good way to do it, and like he says in this one, he's not worried about himself. He's worried about other people getting hurt because, they put him through tests. They test his speed, test his strength, test his invulnerability. They blow up a bank or something. I forget what the location was. But that's obviously dangerous. A lot of, innocent people could die because of that, and instead of, giving in the end, he realizes, like I said, what he can do is enough, and that what he can do is he needs to work harder and be better and try to take Lex Luthor down so that way something like this doesn't continue to happen. And I think that makes him work harder, makes him a better hero, better character.
Yeah. I was gonna say is the other little storyline is Jimmy Olsen is basically being pushed around and made to be like an errand boy by Perry, and eventually stands up to Perry. And I love it because when he does and Jimmy slams the door, Perry's like, good for you, kid.
Yeah.
So,
and I do like the actor who plays Jimmy in the first season, but I'm also a fan of Justin Whalen, who plays him for the rest of the series. It's disappointing that why am I blanking on his name now from season
Michael Landis.
1? Michael Landis, yeah. It's disappointing that he was recast just because he was tall with dark hair, and so was Dean Cain.
Yeah, it was because they said he looked more like Superman and Clark's little brother, and it sucked because it'd been kind of neat if they had played any of the comic stuff where Jimmy and Kat have a kind of an interest, but by the time we get to Justin Whalen, which I do really like Justin Whalen because he brings a different Jimmy energy and feels a bit more Jimmy.
He is a little more youthful.
Kat's gone, so like any of that kind of Kat and Jimmy stuff is just, it's gone.
And in the first season, it's just Jimmy salivating over Kat the whole time anyways. It's not like anything actually happens.
Yep. But that is our Lois and Clark episodes, man. Good stuff. I look forward, like I said, to doing this and continuing down our journey.
For sure. Absolutely.
Look up in the sky!
Thank you for checking out the Krypton Report. Please click our link tree in the show notes to follow us on your favorite social media platform. We have a $1 Patreon, just $1 a month to keep us going, and in return you get exclusive shows and specials. If you want to join us on an episode, send us an email or a message.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane, enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.